there. Welcome to the Mastering Social Media for Schools podcast. It's Andrea Gribble here. We are into the new school year. If you didn't start school yet, you're going to be starting it soon, and you're in the right place. Every week, we meet amazing school communicators who are doing big things with social media. Today, I'm telling you, Sandy is going to drop so many valuable tidbits, tricks, tips. You are not going to want to miss it. She's been in education for 30 years. She's kind of had all of the jobs. She's been in her current role with an all boys Catholic high school in Delaware for 4 years. You guys, she's got a ton of great advice when it comes to social media storytelling. You're going to want to take a look at all of their channels. She's going to really talk about how she gets content and how she plans out her content with a content calendar. She has dramatically increased her followers. You guys, her small little school of 1,000 students has over 32,000 followers on Facebook. You don't do that without telling really good stories. So that's why you need to listen to this episode. She's going to share some of the secrets behind that. She's also going to share a viral moment and why she thinks that went viral. And then she's going to share also a little bit about the importance of being in a community of people that do social media on a consistent basis, give you a little invite and peek into what that looks like. You guys, did you know that we have a newsletter, a free newsletter that goes out every other week? We do. And if you're not on it, check out the show notes or head over to socialschoolforedu.com and get signed up. Every other week, we send out an awesome video or a video tip, a blog, examples from other schools, our latest podcast episodes, and special invites to free events that are happening within our community. You guys don't want to miss it. Get signed up for the newsletter, okay? Now, let's take the time for today's K-12 PR tip. All right, today's K-12 PR tip is simply this. It is a new school year. We need to get great stories, and we need to get out of our offices and get into our school buildings to do them. But we also need to empower the storytellers that are out there, whether that be your students or your staff. So I've got a brand new sticker from my friend, inspired by my friend John Casper. Okay. It says, need stories? Ask for help, ask for invites, ask for photos, ask more than once, ask and ask again, never stop asking. Okay? It doesn't happen overnight. You are going to have to build a storytelling machine and people that are holding phones in their pockets so they can easily snap pictures or short videos and send those to you to be put on social media. But you need to get into the business of asking for help, asking for invites, asking and never stop asking. Okay. So that is my tip for you this week as you go into this new school year. Ask for those photos. You got to ask more than once. You got to keep developing those relationships. Okay, guys? That is your social media K-12 PR tip for this week. Now, let's get to this awesome interview with Sandy Sutty. I'm so excited to welcome Sandy Sutty to the podcast. Hi, Sandy.
Good morning.
We just got to see each other in real life.
It was awesome. It was a great conference at the at NESPRA. Is that how you say
Yeah,
it? Okay.
NSPRA in Washington, D.C. I'm so excited for you to meet Sandy. Sandy, before we get started, why don't you just share your background and then your role as admissions, marketing, and communications manager at
Salesianum.
Sales Salesianum. See, you guys, I practiced Salesianum School in Delaware. So take it away, Sandy.
Yeah, so this would be my 30th year going into this school year in education. And I just have a passion for learning. I have a passion for building relationships. And I've had many different hats in this time that I've been in education, from being a teacher, a technology specialist, a librarian, to rolling into the admissions spot. And so it's been a great opportunity for me to kind of roll into admissions where I am currently. I took over this position. It was a brand new spot for Salesianum for 4 years. So this would be my fifth year going into. And I do everything from social media, website design, really just sharing what I see going in the hallway. My school is what I love to share about it is it's full of love and respect. And what goes in every day when I see the guys smile, just talking to each other. And that's what I want to share, not just about being one of the guys, because I think they're fun, but also being a parent, like all different sides. So it's not just being seen for prospective families, but also retaining families and sharing the story of what goes on where these guys are who really are shining and doing some great things. And every aspect, it's the whole person. It's not just one piece or any little thing, and about supporting each other. And I love sharing that story.
Yeah. I love that. Your school of love and respect. And you're referring to the guys. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your school before we dive in deeper?
It's an all boys school. It's a Catholic school in Wilmington, Delaware, and it's a place of faith and learning and about what we call be who you are and be that well. Our patron saint is Saint Francis de Sales, and we really just focus on that. Where is your journey? Where is it going to go? And being supportive and, having fun.
And about how many students do you have there?
About 1,000 students.
1,000.
So our average class size is about 250, I would say,
Okay.
even though it's ebbs and flows. But yeah, nearly 1,000 students.
Okay. And I just think it's cool. Sandy and I've been connected and you'll learn a little bit more about her journey in our just membership group of being active in that group. But you took the leap and went to the National School Public Relations Association seminar that happened in Washington, D.C. And traditionally, you guys, a lot of public schools there, but private schools are welcome too. So just tell me a little bit about your experience at that event, just for our listeners, because again, it's for all schools.
Yeah, I love public schools. I graduated from a public school. Unfortunately, in Delaware, it's, not the same situation in some of the areas where it's a community school. We're still busing, and so I've had to decide as a family what is the best education I can provide for my kids. And well, that's what happened. I fell into the private school, and I was able to help my kids get through their school and follow them at every school they've been to. And it's just been a great experience. And I think what I felt the most special when I went to the conference is everyone was so welcoming, and it didn't matter. We're all in the same game. We're all being supportive. And, I think it's good to refresh and re-energize and see that we're all, going through this together and that we can really learn from each other.
Yeah. And obviously you're Catholic school, a Christian school.
Mhm.
So everybody who's listening, don't turn it off. I mean, we can learn a lot from our independent school friends. And so I'm so excited for you to learn from Sandy today and to look over their social media channels. Really doing an amazing job. So why don't you just tell us about how social media fits into your role, Sandy?
It really allows me to showcase the school's personality. I think the best way to learn about any school is being inside the school. And people can't see that if they don't know it. And so you open the doorway and you show them what an everyday interaction looks like. And so I think what I'm able to do is build up a content calendar to kind of showcase that piece from all aspects of it and not just one side of it and just experiencing it. What is it going to be like to be here? Anything from experiencing what the teachers are providing, how the boys are supporting each other, to everyday occurrences that just happen naturally, to connect people with our school. And that's with everyone, no matter where you are.
Yeah, I love that. Social media is your chance to show your school personality, and it really is opening the doorway to what everyday interaction looks like. It's not about making your school look a certain way, it's just representing and telling those stories of what it truly does look like. So, what social media channels do you run, Sandy?
So we're currently on Facebook, Instagram, X, and we're on LinkedIn and Threads. And then I also manage the YouTube account.
Okay. So if anybody's hyperventilating a little bit, Sandy's been at this for a while and she's kind of got to get down to a science, but we're going to link to all of those channels so that you guys can kind of see that. So how do you get your content, Sandy? Are you going out and getting every story or do you get things sent to you? How does that work?
I am fortunate where I'm in one school, but still it keeps me busy. I think the most important thing is being out there in the hallways, going into classrooms. So I get some of the content. There are some teachers that provide the content as well, and I'm working on having more student interns. I learned so much at one of the sessions that I went to that they really had a really good program and they shared all the resources with me. And that's kind of what I want to gain from that and implement here so that now I can use Class Intercom, which I learned about at the conference. And that gives you a place where you can actually draft the social medias and they don't have the logins, which I think is awesome. And you can have unlimited users. And that's something I just did a demo on that yesterday that opens up my eyes for making more student interns, maybe even having the department chairs. So I think that will make it easier, as well as with your session. We had the QR codes and putting those stickers out and making it fun at the beginning of the school year. So I think I'm going to use a lot of those ideas to get more content just from, me not just jumping in the classrooms because that's exhausting and hard. But you just have to put it on your calendar. So if that's not an option for you or you're trying to grow it, that's the first thing when I came here. There wasn't any like digital photos. So I was like scanning yearbooks for pictures. And then I was able to just take them and organize them. And now, I'm feeding all of the photos and videos for the yearbook. And now I'm trying to get some photographers in by having a photographer club. And so you just built up your program and you keep trying. You never give up and you never know. Like I like how you have rewards. We just did student awards that they had Beck's Flex Room because I want kids in here too, getting ideas. So I have candy in here all the time. So I want kids to stop by. I want to get to know them because that's really where your stories flourish. It's not by sitting behind my desk and saying, well, nobody gave me any content. You need to make those connections with your students and your faculty and your administrators too, because you never know what's going through their head and what thing they're going to pop up with.
Yeah. Now, were you a staff member at your school before you got into your current position?
No, I was a parent.
Okay.
So I saw it through my older son's eyes. And then when my younger son came, I came with him. And then I saw it through his eyes. And then, I've built up a really good relationship, not just with my son's friends, but other kids too. I was in the band, I was a cheerleader. So I kind of flowed to every direction that normal people wouldn't because they just get into their interests, but I had so many interests growing up. And I think that's what makes me, want to find out, oh, well, what are the band people doing? Or what are the people that are doing a club that necessarily doesn't shine so much? So the culinary club was a lot of fun, for example. And they were making things, pizza, like you just kind of drop in and you find out from the kids, well, what club are you in? And then you kind of visit the clubs that you had never heard of. So that's one big component of our school. We have 60 clubs that happen because we have a flex time, which is an hour where they eat lunch and it's a working lunch. And that's where I see a lot of the kids flow in and out of here to learn a little bit about what their student life is like to capture that.
So besides social media, because people right now, Sandy, are like, oh yeah, it must be nice to just hang out with the students. And but I know that your responsibilities are much more than social media. So can you just kind of describe the main tasks and responsibilities you have in your role as admissions, marketing, and communication manager?
So obviously social media. The second thing is all of the digital and print ads
Okay.
are all me. So that encompasses Google ads, all of the campaigns that go out through social media. I also do tours
Okay.
and I do the website. So
Okay.
I'm the master, webmaster. And so I'm the one that handles all of that.
Okay. I didn't know you were a specialist in some of those digital ads, Sandy. We might tap into you for a little skills session in our membership group because I'm not an expert in that.
Me neither.
But it's just nice to be able, maybe we even do it as a work session so that you can just share what you've done and people can learn from you. So that's really interesting. I want to go back to one thing, which is your journey in education. So you were a teacher, you were a tech specialist, you were a librarian. Now you're in this, kind of communication marketing role. Um, how has that served you in your role now? Because I just think you have such an amazing background. It's like the perfect culmination. And many of you listening might be like, I never went to school for marketing. Like, but yet you've worked in the schools, you've worked your way through. And I think that's such an advantage. So, can you just tell me a little bit about your thoughts on how that journey may have fully equipped you for what you do today?
I think because I never stayed in the classroom that long because I fell into it by starting as a computer instructor, and then that turned into training teachers. So I never was just, in one place at one time, and I felt like I like to explore things. And then my husband's position. So I was in Maryland for 5 years before moving to Delaware 25 years ago. So then when we moved to Delaware, a lot of the technology piece that I liked wasn't available. So I found other positions. And then I learned, especially being a librarian, I saw a lot of things. And then using my tech skills. And then I could see the whole picture. I think I just have a knack for experiencing things and connecting those. And I really like curriculum work. So I did a lot of that as well. So that really lets you see like the pieces of everything. And then as a parent looking for a school for my own boys, really helped me peek into that in a different way. So I was fortunate to have all of those personas
Hmm.
that you're trying to create when you're finding out how to target everybody for social media. So because I've experienced every single persona, it's a little bit better for me to like see that lens
Hmm.
and then share that lens in different ways. And, even being the kid that I still like to have fun and I like to learn. And that's an important concept as well. So I
Yeah.
think that has really helped me. And I've always been curious about how everybody works together. And I've always been a collaborator. So it's never been just me. It's about, well, what are you doing? And I do this in social media too, where I find an image, but I want to mash it up and make it my own. And so I think that's kind of what I've been doing my whole career.
Hmm. That's incredible. And you talk about personas and who you're trying to communicate to. I think many of us, that my listeners, are parents too. It may be in the districts they serve or a nearby district or school. And so, if you're not, talk to the parents, ask them what they want to see, and pay attention to that. Now, Sandy, since you started, you have dramatically, I'm talking dramatically increased your followers since you started working at this school. We're talking about going, I mean, they were big before, they had 18,000 followers. Now you're up to over 31,000.
I think it's 32 right now.
Okay,
Yeah.
32,000.
Mhm.
Okay. What's your secret?
I think one of them has definitely been you. And like that 2 week challenge, I got 200 followers. But I think what happened was the consistency. So
Yeah.
having a content calendar where, I have words of wisdom, motivational Mondays on Monday. Tuesdays, I focus on somebody that is in our community, whether it is like today, I focus on a student that won an award for the Air Patrol, and that's exciting, but also the alumni, also your faculty. So just changing that up, and then you can see how, let's celebrate them. Like, why not? So I celebrate people on Tuesdays. Wednesdays is What's Up Wednesdays. I just like this expression, like I do Mondays, I change it up in the summer because the quotes are always from St. Francis de Sales. And so I change it up and make it a little bit fun on Mondays in the summer. So I have trivia time
Okay.
and that's been a blast. I'll tell you a story about that one viral post that went out
Yeah.
recently. And then on Thursdays for like the normal school year, I do more of the community service and our faith piece, which is an important element of who we are and our identity. And then on Fridays, it's really a hodgepodge of maybe what the athletics is going to look like because I can't cover all of our sports. We have 15. So I'll do like an overview and we have a separate athletics page that somebody else is handling and I'll do a lot of stories from there. But I on Fridays I do admission stuff. It's really whatever is going on. Like we could have a pep rally. We could have inside the school that's really open. But I always every day post like you do at 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock. And then I post up to 4 times,
Okay.
but making sure it's that 2 hour separation
Yeah.
because you don't want too much going on. I think one of your sessions when we went to, they were posting a good gobs of like social media and didn't get any followers. I think you have to be delicate about what you're posting so it's not the same and that you're really opening up the doors so your people are seeing there or connecting with what you're doing. And you have to monitor it. I mean, you can't just sit back and like, oh, I did something great. Some of the things you spend so much time on have no interaction, and it's the little things you just don't know. You're like, well, I saw our custodian. I was like, really wanted to do a custodian post because you had shared that on your membership club. And so I had taken pictures of them, having fun. And we have an amazing custodian group. One day, Jerome was coming in, waxing the floor. That was the shot. And the song that I used with it, he was actually listening to it because he loves music. And the comments I got, love his song choices. He's the GOAT. And that warms my heart, and those are the everyday things that you just have to pick up by walking around your building. And I think even if you're in a school district, you should find yourself going to all of your schools because I was a technology specialist for 13 different schools at one point. And I just made it a priority to go to every single school, spend some time with them, get their story, and then help that person, whoever is your go-to person, your point person at that school, help them, support them, so they know that you're in it too. Go to lunch with them, or you do such a good job with having meetups, and making the connections with each other to help one another. So I
Yeah.
think good. I go down a rabbit hole sometimes.
No, that's a lot. So I heard consistency, like as far as growing consistency, you have kind of a roadmap of Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, like typical themes or features that you do. I'm imagining that some of those, Sandy, do you schedule those out ahead of time then?
Yes, I
Okay.
have a HubSpot right now, but Class Intercom is I'm probably going to be switching to that.
Okay. So Meta allows you to do up to 29 days. Some of these other paid services can go longer. Class Intercom, my friends over there, you can go out indefinitely and schedule out. You also talked about, spacing out your content to make sure it gives time to breathe. And then you hit on something really key, which is building those relationships. You talked earlier about building relationships with students, talk about building relationships with staff. I had it, I think it was on this podcast before, Sandy. It's like nothing magical happens in your office, right? Like nothing like no newsworthy is going to happen while you're sitting in your office. So as hard as it might be, this school year, prioritizing time in those buildings, it makes a difference. Even if you're not necessarily going there to capture some big event, you're going to capture something because there's always something good happening. And just before this podcast interview, Sandy, I watched Jerome's video. I thought it was brilliant. That's so cool that he was actually listening to that song. But it was just that little moment of joy. And you got 26 comments on that little video. And so, as polished as your content can be, because you do a really good job with your graphics, you guys, I want you to look at Sandy's social media channel so that you can see that. But there is this balance of real, authentic storytelling that also happens. That's not a science, it's just you being you, and you can hear by your personality of what that is. But have you ever struggled with that a little bit, Sandy, of knowing, okay, like we are prestigious, like go to school, a school of love and respect. Can I share this like fun little moment? Have you ever had, Any issues with that, or has that not even been a question?
I'm very fortunate where Mark Winchell is the director of admissions here, and he is huge on collaboration. So if there's anything that I'm concerned about, I will always bounce it off of him. And then our president, Tom Kardish, he just loves to have fun and he wants to celebrate that. So I think I've had, the privilege of being with two people that are okay with sharing outside the box, I'd say. And you're not in this box of you can only share this, this, and this. And I think just seeing the side of the school like that nobody else is seeing. And, like I said, I have to sometimes there are things I'm like, not sure about it, but you can always go delete. So I'm not afraid of that either. And I don't take that to heart. You can't. There's always three sides to a story, your side, their side, and then the real story. So you don't know what heartstrings you might be hitting at if you are either offending somebody or not, so you just go with the flow, I think is the most important thing. And know that your stuff, you will get feedback and you just have to learn to just take what they're going to saw it, learn from the experience and just move forward and not look back and the mistakes that you might make that you can make and just try to avoid those and prevent those. But you just have to understand you're human, I think is the most important part. And as long as you have your administration knowing that, I think you're in good hands. If you're not in a good situation like that, it is harder. And I have been in situations where that has been difficult. But then I do kind of fit myself in a box. But I think now where I am at Salesianum, I'm fortunate where I'm able to just share the whole story.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, we're going to dive into more in this podcast episode, in including going viral, and really sharing some of Sandy's best social media tips along with her experience in our membership group. But before we get to that, I just want to take a brief pause to mention our Social Media for Schools retreat. It's happening in Stillwater, Minnesota, June 23rd through the 25th of 2026. We've got Rebecca Boltzma come into that retreat. You guys, you can sign up for the wait list right now. This event will sell out. There's only 125 spots open. It is a conference like no other in regards to a focus just on social media. So if you want to get on that wait list so that you can get signed up come here in September, you are going to want to jump on over to the show notes, get signed up. Again, it's happening June 23rd through the 25th, 2026. All the details are there. So now, Sandy, I want to get into your post going viral. So maybe you had a more recent post as well, but you had one back a while ago. So just tell me about any, the purpose isn't to go viral, but sometimes it happens. So tell me about that.
I think it was just so Father Beretta, our principal, he loves the kids and he just wants in the heart of him, himself, he wants to do the best modeling of doing good things. And my grandmother used to always tell me to do one good deed from the day. And he is absolutely like that. And not only because he's a priest, because he's a good person. And, one of the things that the kids started doing was the Speak Your Mind Bucket Challenge. And it was like the ice bucket challenge from years ago. And here it comes back. And my son's doing it. And I'm like, really? It's back? And then one of the kids had said to Father Beretta, hey, I'm challenging you to do it. So in his fashion, he doesn't do anything small. It's always with an audience of every kid. And in that moment, he just shared, how important it was for our school to have the mental health resources that we have. Very authentic because every kid needs to be supported no matter where they are. And I think the kids really understood that and knew it wasn't just about dumping ice on himself. It was about supporting every single kid that comes through these doors and that he is there for them and supports them. And it was fun. You got to watch the post. There was a ton of ice and it was really cold because it was right before spring break. So, and I put my knee down to get like a different angle, and there was water, gobs of water. So in the video, you're gonna see me going whoop, 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 and I'm like, darn it. But I just left it, you just go with the flow. And that was just how it was, just fun. And the kids' reactions, and he just does it, he's just one of a kind. And I'm sure many of you have those principles out there, and they're special, and it's what makes being here special as well.
So it was the Speak Your Mind bucket challenge. And was it a focus on mental health then overall? Like that was kind
Yeah,
of the,
that was the focus. Yes.
okay. And so your father, uh,
Beretta.
Beretta, he came out and he spoke to all the students, spoke his wisdom into, hey, we have these resources. And then I'm assuming he challenged somebody else. Is that what happens at the
He
end of it?
did. So I can't remember who it was. I think it was our dean of students,
Okay.
Epic, who's an alum as well, and the kids love him.
Okay.
It's not as open.
Right. Not everybody needs to be, but I think you had like over 67,000 views, 367 shares, 55 comments. So this is just an example of jumping on a trend that is applicable to a school, right? You're not going to jump on every trend that's out there that could get you a lot of reach. But this was one that definitely did speak to, your school as well. So being able to have those relationships with your staff. And was there any other feedback as far as, maybe from your staff, from your students, from your community in regards to being able to see that happening? I guess what was the impact, do you think?
I think it's what we always do. It's not about you, it's about helping others. And that's who we are. Be who you are, be that well, being the best version of yourself. And it's not about me, it's about everyone.
Mhm.
And I think that it's being inclusive and supportive, and that doesn't change no matter what. So when we have what we call during our masses, we have a Salesian reflection by a senior, and they actually tell about their journey and some of the hardships they've had. And it's amazing some of the stories you hear, but it was because of our community that they were able to get through it. And I think that just shows you that that's just another piece of who we are.
Yeah, absolutely. So Sandy, you've been in this role going into your fifth year.
Mhm.
Um, were you able to find the resources that we provide here at Social School for EDU right away when you got into your position? Do you remember?
I think I texted or emailed you like, where are these resources? Because I had never been to a group where the featured tab like had the arrow down. And I'm like, okay, that's right there. Very obvious. Just wasn't used to it. And then that is very cool how you have it with the grid and then you click on them. And whenever you go into a challenge, I like how everything is right there in one place. But you just gotta get used to it. And it's like anything else, I'm older, I forget things. A good thing. I think there are sometimes people forgetful. It's just, and then you lean on each other. Hey, can't find this. Anybody else? And the chat, when you're in a Zoom, when our membership seminars, lunch and learns, whatever we have, people will say, hey, and you still will put the document in there because we're going to ask a million times. And if it's not in front of your face at your fingertips, you forget. So it's nice that you just keep reminding people. And that's what we do as social media managers. We keep reminding people of this is a great place. Come here, stay with us, and you'll learn and you'll be your best version of yourself. So I think that's okay. I love that about the membership group.
Yeah. Did you sign up for the membership group or was your school already part of it when you joined the school?
I don't know how I found you. Probably like help. I'm by myself. I need help. And I don't know. I think it maybe through Brendan Schneider.
Okay.
Follow him.
Yep.
And I've worked with Emily Cretella, who's cursive content before. I
Okay.
don't know if it was maybe that.
And do
And
you know
also,
Aubrey Birch?
yes, at the
Easy
small,
School
I've been
Marketing?
to, yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe that I fell into her spot through one of those other places.
Okay.
And it was like a 3 month, you did 3 month special. And I was like, well, it couldn't hurt. And
Right.
then I in love with it. And I'm like, why not? Why not join the membership program?
Yeah. Well, we put out a lot of free content like this podcast and things, but that membership is just a really special community of people just like you. We have almost 500 schools or school districts that are a part of that group. So, how has that community really helped you, Sandy?
It's really amazing. It energizes me, inspires me. You show up, you listen. Some days you just listen, sometimes you share it and you ask questions. It's one of the most supportive professional groups I've ever been in, and one where I actually get work done. You're not just sitting there and listening. I think Aubrey's is very similar. Yours is hands-on. Yours is showing and sharing each other's work. I've never been in a professional community like that. So giving. And so like lean on you and I'll be there and I know what you're going through. And then you also invite speakers that speak to the group and they're part of the expertise. Like I'm not an expert in every one given thing. I try, but it's impossible. It's as I call Google Ads, it's like an octopus. There's too many tentacles here. So if I can just wrap myself around one or, like whenever you go to a sessions and stuff, grab three things that you can do, like you talk about with your membership group. I think that's super helpful that, you get so much information. How do you narrow it down? And then your membership group will remind you or go over it. And a lot of those sessions will have new ideas about doing something you already do. So I think it's just the best part is being able to have that resource. And when I have time, I can go to the lunch and learns. I can't go all the time, but then you have the recordings, you have the resources. And the best part is you and your team are phenomenal. I mean, you can't get any better of a group of people that are there willingly to guide you, to be the cheerleader. And that's what you need sometimes when you're here doing this every day to keep it fresh.
Yeah. If someone's thinking about joining, but they're a little bit afraid, funding is always a struggle, so they might be afraid to ask, what advice would you provide to them?
Why not? This is going to be a win-win. This is the cheapest investment that you can. If you go to a conference, you're dumping a lot more money. So this is a lot easier and you're going to still get some of the same connections and you bring in some of the speakers that are at these conferences. So it's the cheapest, most inexpensive professional development that you can get because you're getting the valuable tips, resources, support just from having the virtual side of it instead of having to fly somewhere. You don't have to have sub plans. There's so much buy into this. It's incredible. We're fortunate where we have some PD support through our district where we are, so we are able to tap into that. But I understand that sometimes it's limited, but it's just a minimal amount of money. It's under $1,000 that you can say, hey, these are the takeaways that I have. Simply your Canva templates, that's worth a mint. So I think there's no way you can go wrong with this. And if they need some support of why, hey, show some of you have some superstar schools out there.
Mhm.
Go to their socials and see what they're doing and see how they've improved. So I think going there with the case studies could be helpful if you have that person that's just really struggling with it. That is very helpful too, because I started fresh in this job. They had no software for doing things, and you just have to plead part and do one thing at a time. You can't have everything at once, but start small and then you can grow.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for that. We have really built a great community, and it's great because of people like you, Sandy. Honestly, we have a lot of contributing folks, but so that's there, you guys. We're going to put that in the show notes. You can check that out. This is the school year to make it easier, and your school believes in professional development. They're in the business of education, and so this is your educational piece when it comes to social media for schools. So as we wrap up, I just kind of want to ask, what's your best social media tip, Sandy?
That's a loaded question.
It's a hard one, and some people give two, which is okay, Sandy. But what would you say?
hmm I would read your book. And then you can be school paparazzi.
Look at that. Did you just get that at the NSPRA seminar?
I did.
Awesome. So she held up our social media for schools book. I published that in 2023, still very pertinent. So thank you for sharing that.
Mhm.
Now, when you answered, when we did the podcast, you said, tell your story of your school to engage the entire community with a weekly plan. So just to go back to that kind of weekly plan, how do you organize that? Do you have that on a spreadsheet? Are you whatever, or is it just general themes? Tell me a little bit about that.
So I have it on a spreadsheet, but I'm actually gonna use the theme. What was the session we were in that you had it was our Sunday session. So
Out
you
with
had
with Alice, right?
yes. So
Yeah.
what she did was this chat GPT prompt that kind of goes through what would your monthly themes be. I think that was brilliant on top of my content planner. So every month have a theme and then it's you can ask your staff, hey, this is our theme, and how much easier that would be to get content. So that is a smart move on top of planning by month and really just molding whatever I see and saving it. So sometimes I'll get it's either feast or famine in our world. So you just kind of built up your stuff and save it and organize it in folders if you need to. I put it on my content planner ahead of time. So I'm saying, okay, well, Monday I do words of wisdom, but I have quotes from St. Francis de Sales, so I'm able to use that. But Tuesdays, you get a lot of stuff from alumni advancement, you have alumni events, you ask kids, you ask people that are in clubs. So, even Boy Scouts I've done before. So anything you just kind of think and look at other people's social accounts because they're coming up some fantastic ideas too. So I think you just keep that walking through, use your feet,
Mhm.
keep going and talking and communicating, and you will find that you have an abundance of stuff.
Yeah. Well, you have dropped so many value bombs. I'm sure these listeners may want to reach out to you to learn a little bit more. What's the best way to stay connected to you, Sandy?
Just shoot me an email
Okay.
and we'll respond back to you pretty quickly. And then we can start communicating. Depends on how often you want to talk to me.
Yeah. Well, we'll put your email into the show notes, you guys. So check out the show notes along with all of their channels. I want you to take a look at that. Sandy, you're doing an incredible job. One quick note, too, in the membership group, one advantage of being in that group, you get to have private one-on-ones. And Sandy and I actually had a private one-on-one. And as we were talking through it, I'm like, Sandy, you're a rock star. You need to be on the podcast. And so that's what led this to here. So I don't do a lot of private sessions, although I am developing that a little bit of an opportunity if you're not a member to be able to purchase that. But members get it for no additional charge. You can just hang out for 20 minutes, which usually lasts 30, and get some one-on-one help and some guidance and all of that. So that was really fun to get to know you too, Sandy. And as much as we love virtual, I did love seeing you in person. So getting to
Absolutely.
get a selfie with you and being able to give you a big hug was really powerful. So thank you so much for hanging out with us today.
Yes, it's my pleasure. It's so fun. You've energized me, and I how much value that I've gained from this is it's priceless.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you guys for listening. I'll be back next week with another fabulous guest. I know it's going to be Labor Day weekend already. I cannot believe it. But we will be joining. Will it be? Will it be? This is launching on August 25th. Yeah, it will be Labor Day weekend. It's crazy. But anyways, we will be back with another great episode, you guys. Until then, keep telling those amazing stories. Bye bye.
Hi, thank you.